A little more than a century ago, a group of Christians who had settled in the Clear Lake area decided to worship and serve God together. They built a church building, but just a few years later it was destroyed in the Great Hurricane of 1900. They replaced it with this building, which would serve them for many years. In this, the oldest remaining Webster building, they began and continued a work which would grow strong roots and nourish the hearts and spirits of many people for years to come. Time brought many changes to this congregation. There was much progress in many areas. Some things, though, remained the same, especially these people's faith in the eternal and everlasting love of God. It was that love they celebrated and passed on to their children. The changes kept coming. New buildings, new technologies, even new styles of worship. The roots, though, remained strong. They not only nurtured, they provided an anchor of faith during a century of almost unbelievable change. They provide that anchor still.
The roots of our church reach deep into the coastal prairie. The fertile soil and long growing season attracted the 19th century farmers from the Midwest, and they brought with them their religion. In 1893, Presbyterian minister Reverend Henry S. Little met with members of the Union Sunday School and organized the Presbyterian Church of Webster. In practice, it was a community church, a heritage remembered today by our tradition of reciting trespasses instead of debtors in the Lord's Prayer. Our first church, constructed in 1896 and swept away in the devastating hurricane of 1900, was witness to the presence of God's grace at Webster. A fallen beam in the wreckage left by the storm protected the church Bible. The little white church was rebuilt. Webster thrived, crops grew, cattle grazed. In 1903, Sato Saibata arrived with a small group of Japanese Christians, bringing modern rice farming to the upper Texas Gulf Coast. One of the most successful local farmers was patriarch of Webster's church, Henry Waldo Boughton. Christian education was of utmost importance, evidenced today by several local elementary schools reflecting the names of our early Sunday school teachers. For decades, Presbyterian ministers visited Webster a few times each year to preach. But in 1931, Gertrude Seabold, hired by the presbytery to help area churches, settled at Webster and preached her Bible stories every Sunday. She also served as moderator of session and was the first woman ordained elder in the synod. It wasn't until 1955 that a full-time Presbyterian minister was installed at Webster. Under Paul Young's leadership and those that followed, the congregation grew, and in 1960 its first brick structure was dedicated. Not a soul worshiping in the new sanctuary could foretell the changes awaiting them following the federal government's selection of the area for NASA's Manned Space Center. Soon, Webster was known as the Church of the Astronauts. Several space pioneers, including John Glenn, worshiped with the congregation and provided leadership to the church. On July 20th, 1969, one of the first two humans to visit Earth's moon, church elder and astronaut Buzz Aldrin, requested a moment of silence, gave thanks, and celebrated communion on the moon's surface. With communion elements given to him by the church 250,000 miles away, this Presbyterian began a tradition still commemorated here annually. On Palm Sunday in 1983, our congregation of more than 300 families christened a new, larger sanctuary building. During the following decade, we grew stronger and began to help our neighbors with the founding of Interfaith Caring Ministries, Bay Area Habitat for Humanity, and The Turning Point. With a growing and changing staff, Webster greeted the 21st century with an expanding campus and yet another sanctuary complex. Our strong roots have served us well, and have nurtured our growth and faith.
Worship is central to the life of Webster Presbyterian Church. We come together as a worshiping community to be nurtured in spirit and to celebrate our risen Lord. Then we return to our individual lives to do the word we have learned.
We celebrate during 2 worship services each Sunday morning, one at 8:30 a.m. and another at 11 a.m. Both services incorporate Reformed liturgy, the early service utilizing contemporary music, and the latter service traditional music. Children are always welcome in worship. At both worship services, there are special children's times. Children's Chapel is a special time during the 11 o'clock service where younger children encounter and worship God while being introduced to the meaning and actions of our larger worship structure. Nursery care is available during all services. Special services for worship are offered throughout the year, such as Christmas Eve services, noontime devotional services during Lent, and Ash Wednesday, Maundy Thursday, and Good Friday services.
A distinctive feature of worship at Webster is the music. This ministry has enjoyed a rich and diverse history. The pipe organ and handbell choir were the first in the area. In the 1970s, WPC offered a folk music service every Sunday at 11 o'clock. Over the years, the music ministry continued to expand by offering handbell choirs and choral ensembles for all ages, strings, recorders, and other instrumentalists to enhance worship. Children and youth have also provided musical leadership in worship. In 2002, we presented the first of our annual youth musicals. We currently offer a contemporary service every Sunday, led musically by our praise band Joyful Noise. This also brought an expansion to our audiovisual capabilities. Through it all, the Faith Choir has continued to serve as the cornerstone of our music ministry, offering choral music most every Sunday and its special presentations during the Christmas and Easter seasons.
The Christian Nurture ministry of Webster Presbyterian Church builds on the strong roots of education and spiritual development to serve the needs of members and guests. We offer Christian nurture and spiritual formation for all of our members, for children to older adults. We educate, equip, and empower people to live as Christ's disciples in this world through faithful worship, study, and action. This is accomplished through large and small groups, inspired teachers, committed mission opportunities, meaningful fellowship, caregiving, and enthusiastic study of the Word.
When our children are baptized, the congregation promises to teach, nurture, and support them as they grow in their understanding of the Christian faith. We fulfill these promises made at baptism through our Milestones ministry. From baby crosses and blankets to confirmation class, to the blessing of backpacks to Bible and Me classes, we are committed to celebrating these turning points and rites of passage as milestones in our journey of faith. Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." Children are gifts from God, and we treasure them at Webster. We provide a variety of ways for children to be active in the life of the church and to grow as faithful followers of Jesus. One important way is through our Sunday school classes. Our 2- and 3-year-old Sunday school class centers on creative learning and playful exploration. Our 4th and 5th graders enjoy their own preteen room where they can ask questions, make discoveries about God, and deal with life's issues. Our nursery and classrooms were recently renovated, and we've developed a new children's library and children's choir room.
Worshiping through music, Handbells and Choir offers an enjoyable learning atmosphere for children. Our children write and lead one of our Sunday morning worship services each year. Parents and children together learn about the sacraments in our Come to the Table and Come to the Waters workshops. In addition to Sunday morning parenting classes and a Mommy and Me group for mothers of infants and toddlers, family fellowship nights are scheduled once each month.
Family fellowship nights are great. We get to have dinner together with another group of families in the area, and we're new to the area, so we got a chance to meet other families. And in addition to that, they have childcare provided. So yay, we get to have adult talk, and our kids are having some great time with the family that we have at Webster Presbyterian Church.
The Children's Ministry team aspires to nurture your children in the faith and provide loving support and spiritual guidance for your family.
Youth group is where young people can come as they are and join a community of love and acceptance. They explore their faith, ask questions, voice their opinions, and experience God's grace and forgiveness. Youth ministry is an integral part of how we do church, of how we are the body of Christ. At Webster, we help young people to know they're created by God and belong to God forever. They belong to this community of faith, and to help them to claim their place in the church. About the Bible, Jesus Christ, our Christian tradition, and what it means to be Presbyterian, and how to explore and articulate their faith and help them trust and follow the Holy Spirit. Our mission is to provide an environment where young people can enter into and continue a personal relationship with God through Jesus Christ, build a positive peer group, and create the foundation for their life's faith journey. We do this by providing a balanced ministry of fellowship, study, mission, and worship.
We offer Sunday school classes for both junior and senior high youth. Each spring, a confirmation class educates our 8th graders about the faith and our Presbyterian traditions. Our youth participate in choir, play handbells, and perform in wind and brass ensembles. An annual youth musical serves as a fundraiser for their summer trips. PYC, which stands for Presbyterian Youth Connection, is a weekly time for fellowship, worship, and mission, and an opportunity to build relationships and put faith into action through service. Wednesday night meetings provide another opportunity for young people to grow in faith and friendship.
Worship is an integral part of what we do and who we are as Christians. Once each month, our youth explore creative styles and expressions of worship, and once each year, they lead our Sunday morning worship services. Some of the most powerful and transformative experiences for a young person occur at church camp and on mission trips. Camp Choye, Synod Youth Workshop, Junior High Jubilee, and Triennium allow for such experiences.
The Synod Youth Workshop is a great place for all youth because you get to know youth from churches nearby and churches in other states and from all across the Synod, and it's really good for all youth.
Our junior and senior high youth mission trip enable young people to serve as the hands and feet of Christ.
Some may think senior high mission trip is a journey to a faraway place, but to me, it is a step in my journey of faith. The trip is a time to serve others while growing closer as a group and to God.
For the first time ever, our junior high youth had their very own mission trip. They worked at the Interfaith Caring Ministries Food Bank, and then they worked at the Galveston Humane Society, and they worked tirelessly but had a great time.
We explore ways to help young people prepare to go out into the world and live out their faith. One of those ways is a luncheon for high school and college students and their parents, where they can ask questions and discuss the fears, expectations, and realities of college life. 1 Timothy 4:12 says, "And don't let anyone put you down because you're young. Teach believers with your life, by word, by demeanor, by love, by faith, by integrity." By building a firm foundation of faith, we educate and equip our young people to know God better, to discover and utilize their God-given gifts for leadership and service, and to become who God has called them to be.
Adult Ministries provides a variety of ways for adults from high school graduates through senior citizens to continue their faith journey. In Bible studies, we explore together biblical truths and how we might better apply them in our daily lives. Our Covenant Group ministry provides small, intimate groups in which we develop close, caring relationships where we can grow together. Sisters in Faith participants are paired and agree to meet together monthly for 9 months. An annual women's retreat is a time of spiritual development and fellowship through guest speakers, nature and beautiful settings, games, movies, and other activities. A special events board provides unique opportunities for church members and the community alike to be introduced to new ideas and interesting possibilities, such as Bible storytelling and bird watching. The library is full of books on theology, biblical and Christian history, spiritual development and growth, and a variety of topics of interest to all. The adult ministry at Webster Church seeks to provide opportunities for all members of the Christian community to continue to develop and grow in faith and spirit.
Our mission team leads church members to go out and join local and global organizations in providing Christian service to those in need. Recently, more than 50 Webster adults and youth volunteered for a day of service at 5 locations across the Houston area. I'm James Kinsler from the mission team, and I'm glad to work in support of folks like the following individuals.
I'm Florence Sell, and we are so thankful for those that donate items for ICM and Bay Area Turning Point. We collect and deliver them each month to those in need of food and shelter.
I'm John Stoker, and I'm new to Webster. I understand Webster has supported Habitat for Humanity for years. I helped Habitat build a house this summer along with our members and those of other area churches to help make a difference for our Dickinson family.
I am Edna Arnold. I am hopeful about the future of our mission work, and I approve this message.
The Care Ministry serves this family of faith and the community through the Board of Deacons, Stephen Ministry, and a Circle of Prayers. Through these ministries, our family knows there are people that can be counted on to provide care, assistance, love, and prayers.
Deacons help engage us in the life of the church through personal contacts, spreading the word about ministries and special events, providing support and assistance in times of illness, when friends suffer injury, following loss of loved ones, or during other family crises, arranging for invigorating activities for the over 50 crowd and a variety of other ministries. They also serve the community by filling and delivering care baskets to the St. John Hospital ICU waiting room. Stephen ministers are especially trained lay ministers who provide confidential, compassionate, Christian listening ministry to those among us who are struggling with life's challenges. The Circle of Prayers pray for the needs of the church members, their families, and friends. New prayer requests are received every day and are circulated to the prayers. Webster Care Ministry offers friendship, hope, care, and love to our members and to the community, and extends the love of God to all. It continues to expand to meet the needs of our growing family of faith.
Our roots have been grounded in fellowship since the beginning days. As one of our longtime members has said, from fellowship comes friendship. Starting with the earliest barbecues, our committee has been welcoming and saying farewell to pastors, gathering friends and families for food, fun, and fellowship, and occasionally hosting Presbytery meeting luncheons. The Fellowship Committee organizes many events: Wednesday night dinners, the annual shrimp boil, Dinner Club 7, Thanksgiving at Brazos Bend, potluck luncheons, and unique events such as the Ladies Tabletop Brigade. Our committee also supports events planned by other ministries. Our dreams for the future include a larger kitchen to adequately support our growing congregation and to engage our community in fellowship with us.
Our Buildings and Grounds Committee is tasked with maintaining and improving all of the buildings and facilities that are needed for our ministries and mission groups to accomplish their mission. Our campus has grown significantly over the last half century into a complex that covers 1 1/2 city blocks. It includes the administration building, our fellowship hall, our Christian education wing, and our sanctuary. It also includes the children's playground area, all of the grounds around our buildings, and the parking lot. All of this requires constant attention to ensure that we can continue our ministries. That means making sure roof leaks are repaired, the air conditioners and heating units are running properly, our lights and restroom fixtures work, our kitchen appliances like dishwashers, refrigerators, and ice machines function. The walls of our meeting rooms and gathering rooms like Boughton Hall and the Fellowship Hall are painted and comfortable. Our grass is watered and cut. Flower beds are weeded and mulched, and our shrubs are trimmed, among many other things. Just like all of our ministry and mission work, this committee's work is really never done. As we move into the future, we look for ways to improve what we have assembled here at Webster so that we can support our growing efforts to learn to live our lives according to God's Word through Jesus Christ and to carry His message to others.
With Christ's love, we welcome, connect, and engage God's children to our family of faith. This is the mission of the Welcoming Committee, and it begins as you walk through these doors on Sunday morning. Here, our hosting team greets everyone who enters, making sure both our guests and members feel that they belong. The responsibility for welcoming then shifts to our congregation as we ask everyone to sign in on the pew pads. This information is vital for reaching out to our guests. Members of our connection team visit our guests at home and listen to their journey of faith. Team members share these stories with others in our congregation so we can more fully connect our guests to the life of the church. This helps our engaging team identify people who may be ready to continue their journey of faith with us. Guests are invited to participate in a class to learn about Webster's history and ministries. Once guests make their commitments to membership, they are presented to session, introduced to the congregation, and invited to a special reception where they meet others in the Webster Presbyterian family. The engaging team promotes Worship Plus 2. Each member is encouraged to regularly attend worship and also participate in 2 other ministries, one where they serve others and one where they continue their own spiritual growth. Fully engaging new members requires the support of all our ministries. As you can see, welcoming is not merely a function of our hosting, connection, and engaging teams. All of us, as ambassadors of Christ, share the responsibility of reaching out to our fellow brothers and sisters in faith, of helping everyone who walks through these doors feel like they belong.
As we look back over the many decades of the history of Webster Presbyterian Church, there is much to celebrate. We are proud of our heritage. We are proud of what God has done in this church and through this church. We know that when our ancestors began the work here, they did it not only for themselves, they did it for us. They not only established strong roots, they constructed substantial buildings because they always looked toward the future. In the same way, what we are doing here is not only done for ourselves, it's really for those kids over there and for their friends, and in a few years for their children who will be playing in this field or another one like it. Our roots will remain strong and healthy, and they will nourish many more generations through the ministry of Webster Presbyterian Church. We do not know what changes the future may hold, but amid all the changes that may come, we are confident that the message of God's love will remain constant and last forever. So as God calls us to the future, we worship and we work and we rejoice.